Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Shreshtam Manamapi Shachiputram Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Urupuring Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tamnatosmi Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Ataf Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagarna Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagarna Lalita Shivashakhan Vitangscha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Discussing the various tirthas, it naturally brings to mind my visits to such places, and for those of you who have visited the tirthas that I mention, will bring in your mind also remembrance of that, and maybe desire to visit again or visit the places you didn't visit. And remembering, we feel happy. I went there, I remember I went there, experienced happiness there in Krishna consciousness. And all these places that I'm mentioning, Gaur-Nitai also visited. So we hope they're also feeling happy, discussing this. They're taking their breakfast now, is it? Okay, so try to say something pleasing to them as they're eating away there. They're not honoring prasadam. Talking about tirthas in a very broad sense, we can also include the dhams, although dham, the word is different. Tirtha is a place of crossing over, and dham means a residence. Place where, you could say something like a home. So Vrindavan Dham is the place, generally known as the place of Krishna. Although Bhaktivinoda Thakur sees as Radha Padankita Dham Jarnam Vrindavan, the place marked with the lotus foot imprints of Sri Radha is known as Vrindavana. And Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam gacchati. Krishna never takes a step outside of Vrindavan. Well, he does, and he doesn't. And he goes outside, Radha doesn't go outside. Well, does she? To find Krishna, she went to Kurukshetra. Even in Garga Samhita, there's talk that she went to Dwarka. Some people say. Garga Rishi said. There's difference that the Tirtha is on this side and it's for us to cross over to the other side. And the Dham is the other side. Going to Vrindavan, it's not the same as going to a Tirtha like Varanasi. Well, Varanasi is also eternal, but it's not Vrindavan. It's not Vrindavan. It's a holy place, but it's not Vrindavan. Generally, people take it as a place for crossing. And for the Dham also, for us who are on this side, we take it as a place, so we can go to that side. But actually, really going to Vrindavan means, well, Srila Prabhupada said that actually going to Vrindavan means to take shelter of the 6 Goswamis. But really going to, you can find that. That's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita purport. So really going to Vrindavan means it's not that we're conditioned and we cross over, but really going to Vrindavan is we go to actualize our situation as an eternal servant of Krishna. Then one can actually enter into Vrindavan. Bishoy charya kabe shuddha habe man tabe hamaharabo Shri Vrindavan. When we're free of material desires and the mind is completely purified, then Narottam Das says, I can see Vrindavan. Seeing is the beginning. That's Shantarasa. And then there's seeing and acting in the relationship. So in the Tirthakara, the name means one who makes a dham. One who makes a tirtha. But in the case of a dham, he doesn't make it, he is it. Vrindavan is not different from Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said that living in Vrindavan is like living in the lap of Krishna. It's not so easy. It's not so easy to live with Krishna. Therefore, we find mostly in the tirthas, especially I was discussing yesterday the temples in South India, they're very grand. The Dham of Krishna is not grand. It's very simple. But we have to from our situation, being in this material world, it's necessary for us to understand the greatness of Krishna. There's a different mood, isn't it? In the huge temples, a very different mood. It's the Vaikuntha mood. Whereas in Vrindavan, or even hearing the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, it's different to hearing the other 9 cantos of Bhagavatam, in which very much is stressed the godliness of God, of Vishnu, of Krishna. But in the 10th canto, especially the Vrindavan pastimes, they're human-like and thus bewildering. What's the word Kunti uses? Gopi. Vidambaram, bewildering, yeah. How a gopi, some village woman, ties up Krishna. And you go all the trouble to understand that he's God, and then you find out he's getting tied up. And then, maybe he's not God after all. Bahunam janmanamante. I took millions of lifetimes to surrender, came to the point, and then I found out, I should have been a Christian instead. Or something like that. He's getting tied up by a gopi. Someone somewhere got it wrong. Maybe shouldn't go that far. Maybe should just go to Vaikuntha. And then you hear something about, there's some place over there where Krishna's playing like a... That's you hear about it, that's all. Not allowed in Vaikuntha to treat Narayan like that. But in Vrindavan, it's not allowed. It seems ridiculous to treat Krishna as Narayana. Sometimes the demigods would, Indra, Brahma, would come to pray to Krishna. Then afterwards the cowherd boys would imitate. They'd go before Krishna and say, "Oh, you are the Supreme." Then they'd roll on the ground laughing. They thought it was a big joke. This funny guy with 4 heads, another funny guy with all these eyes all over his body, and they're saying all these things. And they think Krishna's God. They don't know. I wrestle with him every day, and usually he wins, and sometimes I win. They think he's God. Funny thing. So that is Krishna. Krishna doesn't make we don't find his name Dhammakar. He is, although he could be Dhammakar, he is the form of the Dham. That's a different word. As Krishna is eternal, his Dham is eternal. His pastimes are eternal. His associates are eternal. The Tirthas, they manifest as long as this world is manifest. And then they wind up. It's something like the difference between Krishna and the demigods. We pray to them and they help us to get material benefits, but they're also limited by time. The Tirthas are in this world, and they're supposed to help us go out. And I'll get to that later, how the sadhus are the best Tirthas, because we may go to the Tirtha and not even know that we're supposed to be going out of this world. We think it's a bridge where we can't see the other side. The other side is shrouded in fog. So what's there on the other side? There's a bridge, and that goes where? The one bridge goes to one place, one bridge goes to another place. In London, there are so many bridges over the River Thames, and depending on which bridge you cross, you end up in a different part of London. It's still in London. It's definitely in the material world. So where are you going to go? Where are you going to end up? And some people want to cross to the heavenly world. Some people simply want to cross over their immediate difficulties in this world. Some want to cross over to the fog of foggy, impersonal Brahman. Actually, it's not fog, it's light. There's a difference. There is a difference. Where there's fog, there's no light. That we find what is that verse? Where there's the sun? No. Where there's the sun, there's no fog. Kechit, there you go. Niharamiva Bhaskara. The fog is dispelled by the sun. And then some may want to cross to Vaikuntha, some to Ayodhya, some to Dwaraka, and some to Vrindavan. So for us, because we are on this side, the Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Dwaraka Dham, Mathura Dham, Ayodhya Dham, Navadvip Dham, it acts as a tirtha. It helps us to cross out of our materialistic consciousness and enter the spiritual world. More famous in India than the understanding of Dham as given by Vaishnavas, Gauriya Vaishnavas. The word Dham is more connected to Char Dham, the 4 Dhams, which in the Himalayas are Badrinath, Kedarnath, Yamunotri, Gangotri. But on the pan-India scale, that's again Badrinath, Dwaraka, Rameshwaram. and Puri. But there's a purport in which Srila Prabhupada states, Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 20, Text 4, which Srila Prabhupada writes, in India there are hundreds of sacred places of pilgrimage, of which Prayag, Haridwar, Vrindavan and Rameshwaram are considered principal. He gives these four as principal. The Char Dham, among them Rameshwaram is mentioned. I don't know where that came from. Probably from one of the previous acharyas. There must be a reason for it, but it's not apparent to me. So the Char Dham, whether you take it as the four in the Himalayas or the four throughout India, they are abodes of the gods. But they're in this world. So if we worship a demigod, we remain in this material world. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. We remain in this world because they're in this world. Whereas the Dham of Vrindavan, that is Krishna's Leela Bhumi, or the place where he performs his pastime, or Leela Sthal. There's particular places. In general, the whole of Vrindavan, Vrajadham, Vrajamandala, it's the place of Krishna's pastime. And then there are particular places where Krishna performed particular pastimes, and there are so many. The Keshi Ghat, Vangshi Vat, Dwadasha Kanan, in each of the 12 forests, Krishna performed various pastimes. In general, he herded the cows throughout the 12 forests, but for instance, in Talavan, very famous, he went and he ate tal fruits there and killed a few demons also. The main thing was they wanted to eat some fruit. So, you want to eat some fruit? Oh, you just have to kill a few demons. Okay, let's kill the demons and eat the fruit. They didn't say, the cowherd boys didn't say to Krishna, let's go and kill those demons. They said, I'm going to eat the fruit. Killing the demons, that's just some fun on the way, that's all. It's all fun. It's all fun for Krishna. In this material world, young boys, they have fighting games among themselves. And they imagine someone has become a demon or something. But Krishna, he doesn't imagine. He has real demons to play with. And real demons. Ones that make even Indra, I shouldn't say it, afraid. Krishna really has a lot of fun. And the people who live in Vrindavan, the Brajabasis, the people who are born there and live there, nowadays they may be born in hospital in Mathura or something like that, but traditionally they would be born there and live there. Their attitude is not something that we want to go on pilgrimage somewhere, but their attitude toward Krishna is he's one of us. We love him. And people who go to Vrindavan to visit, they try to get in that mood that we're living here with Krishna. We know the story of Sanatana Goswami, the Madan Gopal. He visited a house and there was some chobe, Mathura Brahmanas. There's so many chobes. Chaturvedi is shortened to chobe. And there was a young boy playing with, a very beautiful young boy playing in the house, along with the children of the house, and Sanatan became very attracted to him and wanted to take him with him. He said, no way, no, you can't take him. He was actually Krishna. Anyway, somehow he went. He expressed his desire. He wanted to go with Sanatana. And then Sanatana, he's just a mendicant. He's a mendicant. So he has nothing. He gets some. He's what is that? Nidrahara viharaka. He's just eating hardly anything to stay alive, just to stay alive. So he gets some old dried up chapatis, and then, oh, now I've got someone else to feed also. So, okay, you can take some dried chapati. And he's used to eating well. The brahmanas of Mathura, they're known for eating well up to the present time. They like to eat. I remember one Vrajbasi Brahmana said to me, there's feeding us, that is just even one chapati, it's so thick and full of ghee and everything. Even to eat that would completely knock you out. But there's a whole pile of them, and there's so many sweets, all heavy sweets. He said, yeah, we like to eat. This is how we eat. We like to eat like this. So they eat like. So Krishna's used to eating like that. And then all of a sudden, he wanted to come with Sanatan, and all of a sudden, he's on a starvation diet. But that's the way, because the Chobes, they live like that, and Sanatan, he lives in his own style. So Krishna has to adjust like that. Very personal relation, and very, very joyful and jolly relationship with Krishna. Very, very, very different to the big temples where there's awe and reverence, bowing down. So the whole point of the Tirtha is to cross over out of this world. But going to Vrindavan is for tasting of course, Bishoy Charya Kobe Shuddha Hobe Man, one has to be purified by giving up the desire for sense gratification. But the whole idea is that we're going there, and it's for love and play and joy. It's not solemn. It's rasasvadana. Ami ghari na jaibo, ghari bone praveshibo, olila rosha ratari. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Jamuna pulene kadamba karni, ki herinu shokya, shamabong shidhari. Shamabong Mani Manchopuri, Lila Kore Rasaraj. What did I see today? Oh, my friend, I saw on the bank of the Yamuna, Krishna on a raised dais with Radha, enjoying pastimes. So for that, you can leave everything. You give up all your home, your prestige, and enter that for that rasa, to taste the flavor and savor that, to enjoy that rasa, and enjoy in the spiritual plane. And of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur did that. He wanted to go to Vrindavan. He ended up in non-different Navadvip Dham. And he presents himself. Generally people think he lived in Calcutta, but he didn't live in Calcutta. He lived in Godruma Vasi. He presents himself in his songs like this, as he's a resident, he's an internal resident of Godruma Dham, in Navadvip Dham. He's looking from over the river at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace and seeing the pastimes and recording the pastimes. So he's actually living there. There's a difference between us going to Vrindavan and shopping in Loi Bazaar and drinking a few lassis, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur living in Navadvip Dham and seeing Nityananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita, entering Godrum with all the devotees, and Kali, who's trying to enter, runs away. So that's actually entering the Dham means to follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis. And Prabhupada wanted that. He made the Krishna Balaram temple, and he said the few devotees should live there, they should be renounced. He didn't say that grihastas shouldn't live there, but he did say there should be no sex of the grihastas in Vrindavan. But whether they're brahmacharis or sannyasis or grihastas, they should be renounced. Living in Vrindavan is meant for renunciation. And he said that they should sing daily the Shadgoshami Ashtakam, just to imbibe the mood of how they should live there. That there's Hey Radhe Rajadevi Ke Jalalite Hey Nanda Sunakotaha, searching for Radha and Krishna and the gopis. But there's also Nidrahara Vihara Kadi Vijita. They're giving up all forms of sense gratification. Tyaktva Turnama Shesha Mandalapati Shrining Sada Tuchavat. Giving up all association with everything material as being completely insignificant. So in this way, by following in the footsteps of the great devotees, one can actually enter the Dham. Here in South India, the entering the Dham is not exactly the same, but here we have the Divya Deshams, which are considered non-different from, or are non-different from Vaikuntha. They are, and just like Krishna likes to be in Vrindavan, so his devotees also like to be in Vrindavan. Pritis tadvasati stale. The devotees, one of the symptoms of an advanced devotee in bhava bhakti, is that he likes to live in the places of the Lord's pastimes. So those places, they're very, Vrindavan and Dwaraka, and Navadip, they're very dear to Krishna. They're dear to the devotees, because the devotees love Krishna, Krishna loves the devotees, and they all love Vrindavan. So in the same way here in South India, Krishna has his holy places, his Divya Deshams, and he likes to live there, and the devotees, they like to visit these places. And they feel we're coming into the presence of the Lord. This is his place. He likes to live here. He is present here. He's everywhere. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. He's spread everywhere, but he has his own special places. And just like Vrindavan has its own mood, and Dwaraka has its own mood, and Navadvip has its own mood, and even within Vrindavan there are different parts of Vrindavan which have their own mood or rasa. So in the same way, all of the Divya Deshams have their own particular, how the Lord manifests himself and reciprocates with the devotees. Krishna is not stereotyped. He's not a boring God. He's a very loving and playful and caring, and he's variegated. If we think we've understood Krishna, we haven't understood Krishna. If we think we can't understand Krishna, then we can begin to understand Krishna. But as soon as we think, I've understood Krishna, what is that verse? Jananta eva janantu kimba huktya name vibho. Then what's next? Manaso vachanam vacha. No. Vaibhavam tava gocharaha. Anyway, none of you know it, so I can pretend I know it. Anyway, the purport is Brahma. He says, someone may think, I know Krishna. But as far as they can say like that, but as far as I'm concerned, with all my 4 big brains and all my speaking big things, speculating so many things. From his mind the universe is produced, and so many things come out of his mind. I can't understand Krishna. And then you can begin to understand Krishna. Then you can say, Chintamani prakara sadnasa. That all comes from Brahma. It's a fact. Everything. If we say Brahma can't understand Krishna, then what's the use of all this Brahma Samhita? But definitely, all the truths in Srimad Bhagavatam are just in those few verses in the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu treasured so much. So, understanding, definitely. Brahma understands, but he thinks he doesn't understand. So that's the qualification for understanding. And this is inconceivable. It doesn't fit with normal human psychology to think that if you, or even logic for that matter, beyond logic. And Krishna, if we think we've understood, another reason, even if, let's say, as theoretically, we understand everything about Krishna, and then we don't understand, because he's always new. There's always something new about him. So he's not, you can't put him in a box, but you can put him in a box. He'll agree that Krishna, who is the creator, maintainer, destroyer, and proprietor of millions of universes, agrees to be put in a box and carried around from place to place by his devotee. Inconceivable. And therefore, people who are unfortunate, Arche Vishnu Shiladhihi, they think, it's just this, what are these silly people worshipping a stone? They're so unfortunate. They can't begin to understand Krishna because they think it's obvious, it's a stone, right? The Shalagram Shila is a stone. Everyone can see it's a stone. You could probably geologically analyze it. Yeah, they do it. They say it's a stone made out of or some certain kind of mineral or something like this. And yeah, if we think that Krishna is a stone, he'll remain a stone forever to us. Srila Prabhupada said that. If you think that Krishna is brass, then he'll remain a brass-made idol to you forever. But if you want to talk with Krishna, he's come for that purpose. And he wants to talk. He wants to talk with you. We may not even be so eager to talk with him, but he wants to talk with us. So we have to prepare ourselves in that way that we can talk with Krishna. So there is a difference between the Dham and the Tirtha. Even places like Tirupati, the Divya Deshams, but they're specifically, they're the abodes of the Lord, but they're specifically manifested within this material world. They are facsimiles, we can say, of the spiritual world, whereas the Dham, that is, in Gauriya Vaishnav terminology, the Dham is the spiritual world, manifested in our vision as a part of Uttar Pradesh. But actually, it is the spiritual world. There is a difference. The greatness of Vrindavan. Now this, if we're going to discuss this, then there's no end to discussing. But I'll just read one verse from the Bhagavatam, which is spoken by Uddhava, who was universally accepted. in Dwaraka, which is the place where Krishna lived most of his life, most of his appearance in this world. He lived in Dwaraka. He had so many devotees there. They were all, everyone living there was a great devotee, and among them all, Uddhava was considered the best. And they all knew, this is it, this is it. We're living with God, demigods come to see him, this is it. There's no higher position possible anywhere. It's just not possible. To live with God in this intimate relationship, there's nothing beyond that. There's no such thing. We heard something from Rohini that Krishna, somehow or other, he ended up in a cowherd village early on, and he used to go around looking after cows with no shoes on his feet. And we heard something, but it's not something you really want to think about too much. Why think about that? Now Krishna's with us, and everything's wonderful. And the best devotee is Uddhava, no doubt about it. And Uddhava was expert in Shastra. He'd learned from Brihaspati. Who better to learn from? The guru of the demigods. And the Shastra itself is a great tirtha that manifests within this world to help us cross over and come out of it. Having gone to Vrindavan, Uddhava, being sent by Krishna, he prayed, Asam aho charna renu jusham ahang syam Vrindavane kimapi gulma latau shadhinam ya dusjajang swajanang arya patang chahidva bhejur mukunda padavin shutibir vimrigyam. Uddhava said, let me become one of Vrindavan's herbs and plants that are trampled by the gopis who give up all connections with family and friends and decided to worship the lotus feet of Mukunda. Those lotus feet are sought by all great saintly persons, expert in the study of Vedic literature. So having attained the topmost possible position in Dwaraka, Uddhava got more realization. I have to make more advancement and get the bottommost position in Vrindavan as some insignificant plant, so that someday Krishna may place his foot upon me. He didn't say that. He said, so that the gopis may place their feet upon me. And then I'll can make some spiritual advancement. The gopis are central. Krishna's a long way away. Krishna is not a long way from Uddhava. He's the intimate friend. In all of Dwaraka, Uddhava is known as the intimate friend of Krishna. He's his personal advisor, but above and beyond everything, he's the most intimate friend. But then friend means in devotion. And even in Nectar of Devotion, we find that he's considered even better than Arjuna as a friend. So having come to Vrindavan, he found that Krishna had a long way. But maybe if I could take birth as some lowly plant, then I could get the dust of the gopis' feet on my head. The gopis are central, not Krishna. He's awed. He didn't feel awed in Dwaraka. In Dwaraka, there's great awe of Krishna. Oh, he's God. Friendliness, yes, but a feeling of his majesty is there also. But Uddhava largely, while maintaining correct protocol, he he was very intimate with Krishna, but now he's feeling very, very far away. These gopis, if I could just begin to approach them, who are so close to Krishna in a way that's not possible for me, he thought, then my life would be successful. And although in the translation here, it's not included in the translation, one of the qualities of the gopis mentioned, yadushjajam swajana, giving up their relatives, which is very difficult to give up, but also aryapatam, they gave up the path of civilized, honorable people for the sake of Krishna, for the sake of Mukunda. A specific name is given Mukunda. Mukunda gives liberation. How can one qualify for liberation? Dharma, artha, kama, then moksha. So that's only for people who follow the... moksha is possible. Liberation from this world is possible by those who follow the Aryapat. The path of the Arya, the civilized people, is possible for them. But these gopis, they've given that up by giving up their husbands and going to Krishna. They don't care. They don't care about the Arya. This going for Tirtha pilgrimage, that's for in the whole world, there's in the whole universe, there are unlimited jivas, and a few are humans, and a few are civilized, which means they follow varnashram principles. And only the civilized people will go on pilgrimage. But the gopis, they're not qualified to go on pilgrimage because of course, civilized people go to leave their sinful reactions at holy places. That's also there. But civilized means you're also committing sins. But then you want to get free. If you're civilized, you want to get free from those sins. And one way you can do it is to go to a holy place. But the gopis, they had no interest in going to a holy place. They went to Kurukshetra not for taking bath at the time of the solar eclipse. They went there to see Krishna. They'd left the path of civilized people, all for the sake of Mukunda. So Uddhava, who is highly sophisticated, known as a great learned scholar, disciple of Brihaspati, cousin of Krishna, then he got we can understand from him a little of the glories of Vrindavan, even in comparison to Dwarka, from this. So that's one verse about Vrindavan. So let's all go to Vrindavan. What are we doing here? Wait till the lockdown's over. It may be very difficult to go, and we can go to Vrindavan. Why go to any other tirtha? We just go to Vrindavan. But it's not so easy, because Bishoy Charya Kobe Shuddha Hobe Man. One has to become purified from all material desires, and even then, after becoming pure, that is not enough in itself. Become pure means to become free from material attachments and kam, krodh, lobh, moha, all these things. And then impersonalists also do. But they are avishuddha buddhayaha. Their consciousnus becomes shuddha, becomes purified, but not fully and completely. Because anadrita yushvadangraya. Aravindaksha. This because they do not respect the lotus feet of he who has lotus eyes, specifically referring to Krishna. Therefore, even though they're purified, they don't qualify to enter Vrindavan. We have in Chaitanya Bhagavat a related Or an anecdote which sheds light on this also, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when every night he would have Sankirtan in the house of Srivas Thakur, and outsiders were not allowed inside. It was only the devotees who were fully surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They could join. And one evening, actually it happened twice, but one time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sensed there's something wrong here. Srivas, is there someone here who's not a devotee? Some unknown person? What had happened, there was one brahmachari, which means Brahmin, young man, who subsisted only by drinking milk, which means he was very austere, very committed to spiritual practices. So he begged Srivas, and Srivas couldn't refuse him, so he hid in the house. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became angry at that. When Srivas told him, he said, yeah, but he's a very good. He's a Brahmin, brahmachari, he only drinks milk, so he can't contaminate. But he can't contaminate the atmosphere. But Nimai at that time, he said that, you think you can attain me just by drinking milk? Just by drinking milk. If we think that's dhane jane panditye krishnare nahi by wealth, by followers, by learning, and then rahuganai tat tapasana yati, by austerities, one cannot attain Krishna. Keval bhakti bosh Chaitanya Gosai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes under the control of devotees who have pure devotion to his heart, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. So tirthas are also helpful for us, because we're on this side. We need to go to Vrindavan. But we can't go to Vrindavan just by going to Vrindavan. If we take our contaminated consciousness with us, then we can't actually enter Vrindavan. Of course, Vrindavan Dham is very kind also, and if we come in without the prerequisite qualifications, then Vrindavan Dham may very kindly cut those contaminations. But the cutting can be very painful also. Not easy to live in Vrindavan. Then therefore Navadvip Dham, Audarya Dham, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the abode of munificence, liberality. So Navadvip Dham is non-different from Vrindavan, but even more merciful. But even then, if we enter with a non-devotional attitude, we may not enter at all. We may remain on the periphery. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also warns about that. Prodhamaya. We may remain on the thinking we're in the Dham, but we're not at all. One other kind of holy place for within the whole of the Vedic culture is the samadhis of saintly people. And here in India, the Hindus who became Muslims, some of them adopted that also. So the Muslim saints, they also have their tombs, which are visited by so many people, Muslims mostly, Hindus also. And it depends, the more famous ones and less famous ones. In Udupi, not so many people know, but just next to the Krishna Mart, there's samadhis of so many of the sannyasis who passed away when they were in their pariyai, in their turn to worship the deities. There's another just similar to that, just came to my mind. At Srivasangan Advaita Bhavan. Yeah. In Mayapur, you can hardly see, there's a little entrance and you can find the samadhis of so many sannyasis, Gauriya Math sannyasis, disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and others also. So that's there. There are also holy places. So the number of holy places is increasing. And also, very important for Gauriya Vaishnavas is throughout Bengal, there are the holy places connected with the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. They're called the Gauriya Vaishnava Shripats. And many of them are close together and they're spread also at different places. I spoke about them a little bit before. We have Halisaha, which was the place of Purandara Pandit, and later the Nityananda Vangsha made the Kardaha became that place. And then very close to that is Panihati, where Nityananda and his associates danced non-stop. How long? 3 months. And for Nityananda, it's just the whole cosmic manifestation is just like that. So he got absorbed in kirtan and he didn't stop for 3 months. No eating, no sleeping, no drinking, nothing. So that's a holy place. And there are so many holy places connected with all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada, one of his last, actually it was the last project he established. In Bhuvaneshwar, they say that it's the last temple founded by Prabhupada, but there was another project which came up even after that, which was the Bhaktivedanta Swami Charity Trust, in which Srila Prabhupada, he wanted, using ISKCON's funds, he wanted to renovate the holy places, many of which at that time were very run down, and to glorify them. I recently saw a video from one website, I think, what's it called? The Glories of Bengal, something like that. Some disciples, householder disciples of Tirthakara Maharaj who live in Kolkata, they go to various holy places and they make little videos. So I saw Baranaga, the Sripat of Bhagavata Acharya, who is described in Chaitanya Bhagavat on the bank of the Ganga, Varahanaga, Baranaga. It's become in modern language. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited there, Bhagavata Acharya, whose practice was to recite Bhagavatam, he recited with more force, more vigor, more enthusiasm, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him that name. So I remember visiting there many years ago, and it has a whole museum of artifacts connected with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from 500 years ago. And it was pretty run down, and I saw on their video it's all marble, and it's all been, someone must have put crores and crores of rupees, and not the Bhaktivedanta Swami Charity Trust. So these places are coming up as people become more and more aware of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's contributions and then the devotees connected with him. So let that go on. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes didn't finish when he passed away from this world, because his disciples and his followers, they also continued to enact amazing pastimes. The same love of God that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought, that all of his followers, they had the same wealth of love of Krishna, and they manifested that in the world in various parts. Some of them, like Swarup Damodar, they passed away very quickly from that. They couldn't tolerate to be in the world without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly in their presence. Some lived on for a very long time, and then that was passed down generation by generation, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita is still going on for those who have the eyes to see. About the holy place connected with Rupa and Sanatan, Srila Prabhupada wrote that the place where Sri Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami formerly lived has now become a place of pilgrimage. That means that where they lived in Bengal, in North Bengal, that means north of the Ganga, where they lived when they were in the service of the Nawab. Otherwise, their family history is from East Bengal. So where they lived there, Srila Prabhupada wrote, has become a place of pilgrimage. It is generally known as Gupta Vrindavan or Hidden Vrindavan. And that's Ram Kelly and the area. You can also visit if you get the opportunity or make the opportunity. There's so many nice holy places there. There's a huge man-made pond, dighi, that's called in Bengali. An ordinary village pond is called a pukur, and when you have a huge one, it must be 800 meters long or something. Something that's called, this is called Rupa Dighi, because Rupa Goswami had it excavated. And the Madan Mohan temple of Radha Madan Mohan of Sanatana Goswami, that's there. And then the tree where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat, and so many things you can find there. So that's a place of pilgrimage, because Rupa and Sanatan were there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there, but he only went there because of Rupa and Sanatan. He says, you can find in Chaitanya Charitamrita, people are wondering why I came here. What business do I have coming here to this particular place? I came to see you and drag them out. Drag them out from that government service. So that's one of so many holy places. Actually, as I said a few talks ago, the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, one of the books he wanted to make, he had so many ideas in his mind for writing books, but they didn't manifest. One of them he wanted to write was called Paramarthik Bharat, Spiritual India. I don't know exactly what the subject was to be, but there's so many holy places all over India. If you had a whole team of scholars, you could find them out, trace them out, and write something, a little bit about each of them, at least a little bit. Just like here in Salem, there's just this Ayodhya Patanam. People don't know, it's a place of Lord Rama's pastimes. There are so many places like that. So many. Hare Krishna. I'll finish there for today. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Bhakti Vikasa Swami Maharaj ki.